Welcome to Edge Igniter. I'm Alex Rivers. Last episode, I told you deep expertise is one of the 4 skills that survive automation. The expert who can catch the machine when it's confidently wrong. The quality control on AI. And then a listener question stopped me cold. It went like this. Fine, Alex.
Experts survivent.
But how does anyone become an expert now? Think about how expertise has always been built. The junior lawyer spends 2 years reading boring contracts. The graduate engineer checks hundreds of routine drawings. The apprentice does 1,000 ordinary welds before anyone lets them near the difficult ones. The rookie nurse takes 1,000 ordinary observations before developing the instinct that says, "This patient looks fine on paper, but something is wrong." That boring, repetitive, entry-level work wasn't just cheap labor. It was the ladder. Every rung taught your eyes, your ears, your gut, what normal looks like, so that one day you'd recognize abnormal in a heartbeat. And AI is now doing exactly that work. The routine contracts. The standard drawings. The first draft everything. So here's today's question. If the machine takes the bottom rungs, how does anyone climb the ladder? This is the apprenticeship problem. It might be the most important career question of the next decade, whether you're 22 and starting out, or 50 and running the team that 22-year-old joins. Let's start with the evidence that this is real, not hype. Researchers at Stanford, led by the economist Eric Brynjolfsson, have been tracking payroll records for millions of workers across the United States. Their study has a memorable name, Canaries in the Coal Mine. What they found should get your attention. Employment for workers aged 22 to 25 in the jobs most exposed to AI, things like software development and customer service, has dropped by around 16% relative to other workers. Same fields, older workers? Holding steady. It's specifically the newcomers feeling it. And the drops are concentrated in exactly the jobs where AI replaces the work, rather than assisting it. The bottom rungs are disappearing first. The canaries are the young. Add the finding I shared last episode. A study of AI users found the youngest were the most dependent on the tools and scored lowest on critical thinking tests. So the people with the least experience are leaning hardest on the machine, at exactly the moment the experience building work is drying up. That's the trap in full view. But now, here's the twist. Because the same economist found the opposite result somewhere else, and the difference between the 2 studies is the whole lesson of this episode. Brynjolfsson and his colleagues studied a big software company's customer support center, more than 5,000 agents, when an AI assistant was rolled out. The AI watched each conversation and quietly suggested what to say, based on what the company's best agents had done in similar situations for years. Productivity went up 14% on average. But listen to where the gains landed. Experienced agents barely moved. The newest, least skilled agents improved by 34%. The AI was taking the hard-won know-how of the veterans, all that unwritten, tacit skill, and whispering it to the rookies in real time. New workers reached competence in months instead of years. They learned faster, they stayed in the job longer, and customers were happier. Hold those 2 studies side by side. In one, AI is deleting the bottom of the ladder. In the other, AI is the best training tool the bottom of the ladder has ever had. Same technology, opposite outcomes. So what decides which one you get? To answer that, you need to know what expertise is actually made of. Decision researchers like Daniel Kahneman and Gary Klein worked this out years ago. Skill is built from 2 ingredients, lots of repetitions, and fast, honest feedback on each one. That's it. That's the recipe. The fitter who can hear a failing bearing heard thousands of healthy ones first. The firefighter who senses a floor about to collapse has read 1,000 fires. Now look at what happens when AI does the task and the junior just receives the output. The repetition happens inside the machine. The feedback goes to nobody. The document gets written, but nobody's judgment improved. We used to call the boring work grunt work. It was actually the gym. Here's what that looks like in practice, in 3 real jobs. A law firm buys an AI tool that reviews standard contracts in seconds. Brilliant. But reading 500 tedious contracts was how junior lawyers learned what a dangerous clause smells like. Now a supervising partner asks the junior, "Is this AI review right?" And the junior has no way of knowing. They were never wrong 500 times first. That's the skill that checking requires. An engineering office uses AI to produce standard calculations and drawings. The graduate engineer's job becomes clicking approve. But catching the one drawing in 100 that would fail in the real world takes exactly the pattern library the graduate is no longer building. A hospital uses AI to read the routine scans, so trainees only see the weird ones. Sounds efficient. Except you can't recognize weird if you've never been saturated in normal. Ask any experienced radiographer. The foundation of spotting the rare thing is 10,000 encounters with the ordinary thing. See the pattern? In every case, the machine didn't just take a task. It quietly took the training hidden inside the task. So here's the fork in the road, and it applies to every workplace and every career. AI can be a ladder remover, or it can be a flight simulator. Think about how pilots train. We don't say, "The autopilot flies well, so let's skip training pilots." We built simulators, and made trainees fly failure after failure, engine out, storms, instrument malfunctions, so that when automation hands back control at the worst moment, the human is ready. Aviation understood something the rest of us are just learning. The more capable the automation, the more deliberately you have to build the human skill underneath it. The call center study is the flight simulator version. The AI coached, suggested, and passed on the master's know-how, but the rookie still did every conversation, still felt every customer's frustration, still got the feedback. The junior lawyer clicking approve is the ladder remover version. Output without repetitions. Speed without learning. Which brings us to the practical part. What do you actually do? First, if you're early in your career. Then, if you're the one leading. If you're starting out, 4 habits. 1. Do the rep before you see the answer. Before you let AI draft the email, the analysis, the plan, write your own rough version. 1 paragraph. 5 minutes. Then compare. Where the RE's version is better, ask why. That comparison is a private masterclass, available every single day, and almost nobody takes it. 2. Treat AI as your simulator, not your substitute. Ask it to generate practice. Give me 5 contracts with 1 hidden problem each, and let me find them. Quiz me on what could go wrong with this design. Play the difficult customer and let me handle you. The rookies in the call center got better because the AI coached them through real representatives. You can build the same gym for yourself. 3. Chase the feedback, because that's the half of the recipe AI doesn't give you. When your work gets corrected, ask what the person saw. When the RE's answer gets overridden by someone senior, ask them why. Every one of those moments is a rung of the ladder that no longer builds itself. 4. Volunteer for the messy jobs AI can't do. The site visit. The unhappy customer. The stock take that doesn't add up. Everyone else will dodge them, because the machine can't help there. That's precisely why they're where experience still gets made. And if you're the one running the team, this part is for you, because the apprenticeship problem is mostly created by managers making locally sensible decisions. The AI does it cheaper today, so why give it to the graduate? Because in 5 years you'll need a senior person who can check the machine, and they won't exist. You saved money this year and deleted your talent pipeline quietly in the background. 3 moves. First, protect the representatives. Pick a share of routine work, and it can be small, that juniors still do by hand, the way pilots still fly manual approaches to stay sharp. Not because the machine can't, but because the human must. Second, flip the order. Junior predicts first, then sees the AI output, then explains any difference to someone senior. Same task, same deadline, but now the work trains a person as a side effect. The difference between those 2 workflows is invisible on this month's numbers and enormous in 5 years. Third, redeploy your veterans. In the call center study, The AI had effectively bottled the top performers' knowledge. Your expert's new job is partly that, turning their scar tissue into teaching, reviewing juniors' predictions, telling the war stories behind the rules. Mentoring used to be a nice to have. It's becoming the main way judgment gets transmitted, because the tasks that used to transmit it are gone. Let me land this. The ladder into expertise is being dismantled while the demand for experts, the checkers, the judgment holders, the people who catch the machine's confident mistakes, keeps growing. That's a collision. But nothing about it is inevitable. The same technology deleting the apprenticeship in one company is accelerating it in another. The difference isn't the tool. It's whether anyone is deliberate about the human learning happening around the tool. Your action this week. If you're early career, 1 rep before the answer, every day, starting tomorrow. If you're a leader, find one routine task your juniors used to learn from that AI now does, and redesign it so a human still learns. 1 task. Start there. Before I sign off, the usual moment of honesty, because this show owes you one. AI helped research and draft this episode, and the voice you're hearing is digitally produced. Every claim was checked against the published studies, and a human made the final call on every word. The machine did the labor. People kept the judgment. The research is simplified for audio, so treat my summaries as a starting point, not the last word. None of this is professional or career advice. Weigh it with your own judgment. You knew I'd say that. I'm Alex Rivers. This has been Edge Igniter. Keep climbing, keep your edge sharp, and I'll catch you next episode.